What's up, guys? We're back with another episode of the Yankees Farm Report this week. And today I have the great John Brophy with me. Bro, how you doing today?
Doing good as always. How you doing, Carlos?
Doing good. I'm doing good. I know it's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Taking a little break from baseball with health stuff going on. But my season's ended, and I'm gonna do some major league stuff now.
all right. All right. So, for this episode, we want to talk about some of the young Yankees, some of the young Yankees that are on the team right now. We're going to look at the prospects of the week and do another prospect spotlights. I got good feedback on that last week. So we're going to continue on that road. Um, Before we get started, I just wanted to mention that that we're 26 subs away from 3,000. Really want to hit that number by season's end. So just do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications if you always want to be up to date on all your Yankee prospects. All right, and getting right into it, I think I want to lead off with Austin Wells because Austin Wells has just been an absolute beast. Over the last 37 games, he's hitting over 300 with an 898 OPS going into yesterday. That's 15 base hits, 7 home runs, 29 RBIs, a walk rate just a tick under 10, and the strikeout rate at about 20%. As a cleanup hitter, he's doing even better, hitting 309, 6 home runs, 29 RBIs, 891 OPS. I mean, I had a feeling that Austin Wells was going to be a fan favorite. And I never lost faith in him, even though people were all over were saying, "Oh, give him a first baseman, give him a first baseman." I just never lost faith in the kid, and right now he's rewarding not only Yankees but Yankee fans.
Yeah, and it was the same thing because I saw him when he made his pro debut down here in Tampa, May 4th, 2021. I'll never forget that game because it was him and Volpe and so many guys on that team that ended up making the majors in some fashion. But even then, when he was down here, it was, he's not a great catcher. He's more hitter, make him a DH, stick him in the outfield.
Hmm.
Same thing like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing him work with Michel Hernandez, the defensive coach down here in Tampa. It's been with the Tarpons for quite a while. And the biggest issue that I noticed with him when he was down here was his pop time.
Hmm.
And it was just so slow, and he was throwing into the outfield. And that was the one thing that he was working on. And
Hmm.
just, I got to give him credit that the work ethic that he has and he has had throughout his career is probably the biggest standout feature over anything else that he has, whether it's his hit tool, his power, or anything else.
Yeah, and I also think you also have to give some credit to the Yankees for not losing faith in him. I mean, they could have
Yep.
easily moved him over to first base, to left field, as some people were calling for. But from all the games that I had seen from Austin Wells, I saw nothing wrong with his game. Repeatedly kept telling people the only thing that I see about his game that's troublesome is the arm, and the arm is the arm. There's nothing you can do about that. The only thing you can do about that is mitigate it some by holding on runners a little bit better. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. As I said, the guy was always going to hit. I always thought he was going to be a fan favorite. The defense was always pretty, well, I don't want to say always, but it was pretty good. It was something that he continued to work on in the offseason. And I think he just asked for to be patient, that he would continue to work on his craft.
And I think even still, as far as like an overall package, I think as a catcher defense wise, he's still better than Jose Trevino,
That's
especially with
that's
the
the
arm.
crazy part. Yeah, that's the crazy
Yeah.
part, that statistically he has been better than Trevino. That has been crazy. But to me, I think he went into the I went into the season thinking he was gonna hit 260 with 16 home runs. A few people said to me, yeah, it's kind of lofty goals for him. And I said, I don't know, but that's my feeling, is that 260, 16 home runs. And I think he's gonna be a fan favorite. And he's proving that to be the case right now. The guy is playing excellent baseball right now.
Yeah, and he hit a game-tying sac fly last night in the 10th inning, which I mean, as far as that's concerned, that saved the game. And it set it up for Jazz to do the walk-off.
Yep. All right. The other guy we want to talk a little bit about is Anthony Volpe. I know he's been getting a lot of flack lately. Um, I think he's hitting about 250 if I'm not mistaken. The on-base percentage is extremely low for me. It's about 300. Right now he's a completely different player than what we saw in early on in April and May. I don't know if it's a patience thing. I don't know if he has moved away from the mechanics that he had early on in the season. Um, but do you think Volpe has more left in the tank?
Yeah, and something that I've noticed throughout his career is he goes through a lot of ebbs and flows. Like he'll get hot for, I don't know, 6 weeks at a time, and then
Mhm.
he'll get into a rut, and then he'll get hot again. And I think it's just a matter of time where, he'll overcome whatever he's got going on and he'll get hot. Hopefully it's in time for the playoffs, and hopefully he doesn't stay the way that he's been. I mean, it's kind of like a lot of the team where
Mhm.
they've been in a little bit of a rut. So, it could be just something that they're working on and it hasn't clicked for him yet because that was sort of a thing that I noticed where uh, he would be working on something, then one game it would just click, and then he would hit like two or three home runs, or drive like four guys in and two doubles, stupid looking stats on the box score.
Yeah, like you said, there's ebbs and flows to his season. I mean, but I think for most young players, that's the way it's probably going to be. Of
Yeah,
course, you're going to have your outliers, which they're just hot all season long. But I mean, for him, we've seen the streaks, right? I think it was just after the All-Star. I don't remember what time frame it was, but I know he went through a sequence where he was hot for about a 15, 30 game stretch where he was
yeah.
hitting well over 300 and now he's down in the valley. So, I mean, I always thought that Volpe was going to be a guy that maybe he wasn't going to hit for a high average. He was going to hit maybe 20 home runs. He was going to steal a lot of bases. Um, I still think that you need to give Volpe a little bit more patience. I would give him like another year, just so we can see where it is that he's gonna fit in, and what kind of a player he's gonna be. I think it's way too soon to get on him. And like you said, there's ebbs and flows. There's gonna be good and there's gonna be bad. He's only in his sophomore season. I would just say be a little bit more patient with him, especially since the Yankees did what they did in passing on a lot of great shortstops. So Yankee fans don't have any other recourse but to just be a little bit more patient. If it's not Volpe, then you guys already know there's some guys in the system who it could be, right?
So my question for you would be, would you rather stick with Volpe or would you want to give Oswald Peraza a shot? Just because he's been doing pretty good.
He's had a bounce back season from my perspective. But do I give Peraza the shot? Um,
Or would you rather say
I'm
let
gonna
Labor walk next year and put him in second base or put one of the two at second base?
I think second base has to be an open competition between Peraza, Vivas, and and Caleb Durbin. If you ask me, I think that's probably what I look at. And if I'm being honest, I would hope Caleb Durbin is the guy that comes out of that
Yeah.
as the second baseman to break camp with the Yankees because I think he's perfect. He would be perfect in this lineup, right? He's a guy that doesn't strike out. A ton of contact. He's pesky on the bases. He's not just a slap hitter. He can hit the ball into the gaps. He hit 10 home runs this year, which is a career high for him. Um, that's my hope for him. So I don't know. I mean, regarding Volpe, I would say give him another year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the last guy I wanted to talk about was Louis Hill. Just wanted to know what you think as far as what the Yankees do with him going forward, and as you know, we the season winds down and we head into the playoffs. Where do you see him in the rotation or in the bullpen?
I think he stays in the rotation. And then I guess there was some kind of buzz of they were going to put Nestor in the bullpen. I
Hmm.
don't know how that would work. Like, I don't know if they're going to do like a platoon setup like they did, was it with Schmidt or something like that? Um, but looking at there's in the Yankees game notes, the one thing that stuck out to me was Elias. I guess they have a lot of like statistics and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Elias notes his 16 starts of one or zero runs allowed are tied with Russ Ford, who had 16 starts in 1910, for the most by a Yankees rookie pitcher in franchise history. So if he has one more start that has one or zero runs allowed, he would have the most in franchise history. So I kind of want to think, just because the length and the quality kind of a start that he provides,
Hmm.
that they would want him in the starter role, just because of how much of a mess that bullpen has been recently with Clay Holmes and all of
Hmm.
that stuff that they have going on.
Yeah. I mean, I think if regarding him, my only issue is the innings. We
Yeah,
already know he's blown way past what I expected. I thought it was going to be between 80 and 100 innings, and they've blown right past that. So that's out the window. But that would probably be my only concern. I mean, as long as he continues to pitch well and he doesn't look gas, I would keep him in the rotation.
even if you put him out there for two, 3 innings,
Hmm.
he's going to give you a quality start. You piggyback him with Nestor.
Hmm.
Nestor will give you, well, 5 innings usually of pretty decent pitching, and then you go on to your bullpen, and then by that point it's the seventh or eighth.
Right. Regarding the bullpen, while we're on that topic, there's one guy that's you and I both spoke about, and that's Clayton Beater. There's a potential for him to get a look before the season ends and maybe see if, he could be an option for this postseason roster. What do you think about that?
Yeah, like we were talking about using him or Yoendris Gomez, and I think either one of them might be an interesting choice to go with. Um, the question would be, what do they do because they don't have any open spots
Hmm.
on their roster? So what do they do with like do they send someone down? They just sent Misevich was
I think he's
optioned
DFA'd, no?
to he was DFA'd. He was just optioned today to
Hmm.
Scranton. So do they do something like that with Clay Holmes and then see what happens just because of what's been going on with him? It seems like they have a lot of confidence in him.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
can't see them going that route with him.
I mean,
They
I
just
don't
seem to
I
love
don't
him.
think they would do that, but I think
Hmm.
the Yankee fans would definitely want that given how vocal they've been. But I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. I think you'd have to make room, and then it would be one of those things that they try out, but it's too late in the year to try something out.
Yeah. All right.
Like, if it were August, that might have been a different story.
Okay. Moving on to player spotlights, there's a couple guys that I wanted to just look over their seasons. The six guys for me, I'm going to start out with Roderick Arias, and that's because I've been asked about how he's been playing or how did he end the season, and to me it was night and day.
Yeah,
Since July 1st, he was hitting 265 with a 379 on base percentage. So you're looking at about a 65, about almost a 70-point jump in batting average in the second half of the season. Well, since July 1st. As far as on base percentage, almost close to a 80% jump. OPS was 813. He had 17 extra base hits, 7 home runs, 31 RBIs. He was 18 stolen bases. The walk rate jumped up by a tick, moved up a little bit to almost 15%. And the strikeout rate was at 23.8%, which is a lot lower than what it was, especially early on. I'm extremely ecstatic with the way that he finished the season, especially in regards to how he was looking early on. I think if you're a Yankee fan, you have to be very happy about how he ended the season.
I think the bigger concern to me would be the defense,
Hmm.
and that's something you can work on. Like usually the defense will come around after the bat. Um, it wouldn't surprise me in the least to have him start at Hudson Valley next year,
Hmm.
just because, especially since he had so much time down here, and
Hmm.
you can kind of tell when I went to the one of the games right after Lombard had gotten promoted, you can tell he was a little depressed that, hey, why didn't they send me up? And they sent, Dylan Hasso and Jackson Castillo.
Hmm.
So, you can kind of tell. I get it. He was a top prospect
Hmm.
in that draft. Was 22, I think it was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
Castillo and Hasso were both undrafted free agents, by the way.
yeah.
Um, But regarding Arias not getting the call up, I think it's the Yankees are weird with this, right? Because it's always a one for one,
Don't get me
right?
started.
It's a one for one, right? A shortstop has to move or a shortstop has to go on
Yeah,
IL in order for them to move up a shortstop and things like that. But I mean, I think it worked out well because you had Roderick playing shortstop exclusively, and then at Hudson Valley you had Lombard playing shortstop exclusively. I just think it worked out. I would have loved to have seen Roderick move up to Hudson Valley,
of course. Yeah.
but it just wasn't in the cards for him right now. But you and I both are in the agreement that we do expect to see him at Hudson Valley next season. Um, don't know exactly how they're going to do it. If they're going to go back to the flip-flopping second base, shortstop, maybe even third base, because I know Lombard did play some third base.
Mhm.
I don't know if Roderick did. I know he played mostly
I think
second
he
and
played
short.
one game at
Yeah.
third, and it was mostly short, and
Hmm.
every once in a while it'd be second.
Right.
And he looked
Um,
better in the second base role, I think, too, in my
mhm.
opinion.
Oh, he did? I
I
mean, to
think
me,
so.
he has a shortstop arm. I think
Yeah,
it's a matter of reps for him, right? I think due to the fact that he didn't have a lot of in-game experience, he spent the first 2 seasons on the IL, missing half the season both times. This was his first full season. It's just a matter of reps, in my opinion. Coming out of the IFA class, Baseball America did, I believe, give him an 80 grade on defense. Um, don't completely recall, but I thought it was an 80 grade on defense.
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't call it that, but that's just me.
All right. The next guy I wanted to mention was Harrison Cohen. Harrison Cohen,
Oh
since he's
man,
coming off the IL, he has been phenomenal. He's 5-0 with a 1.25 ERA, 0.90 whip. That's 26 and two-thirds innings, 15 hits, 29 strikeouts, a strikeout rate of 28%, 116 average against. Over the last 16 games, he's been even better. Pitching to a 113 ERA, a .56 whip, 8 hits, 18 strikeouts, 31% strikeout rates, and hitters are hitting 143 against him.
what was his walk rate?
The walk rate, I didn't have the walk rate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because on my scouting scale that I have, excellent is 27% on a K percentage. So that would be anything over a 10 on a K through 9,
Hmm.
which I mean that's the kind of pitcher that he's been. And again, he's another UDFA guy
Yes.
out of George Washington.
Okay. Also, in the season, he's had 26 and two-thirds innings with 9 walks. Over the last 16 innings, he's giving up 1 walk.
Okay. That's yeah, so that's good then. I can't
I'm a
do the
little,
math in my head, but
I'm a little surprised he's not at Somerset since he did end it last season at Somerset. I don't know if they're just waiting for the season to be over, or maybe they give him another
I
cup of
think
coffee
it's
there.
they're just being careful with the injury because he had I
Yeah.
forget it was like an elbow injury or something like that.
I don't know if they publicly announced what it was, but I know he missed a lot of time.
Yeah. It was I think it was something like an elbow injury from what I understand. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think and that goes with I think a lot of the other guys that have, we've I mean the Yankees always let us lead us to scratching our heads with the way that they do their promotions.
Uh-huh.
I mean that could be an episode all in itself, to be honest.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um but I think in Cohen's case it was, they're being careful with the injury, but I mean you look at someone like Eric Raiselman and
Mhm.
like I'm not surprised he's in Somerset,
Right.
given the fact that, he started late in the season because of an
Mhm.
injury, and then I saw him briefly in the complex league.
I mean, but he was completely killing hitters in
Oh
the
yeah,
FSL though. I
yeah,
mean, it was no match for them.
yeah.
I mean, this in the Sally League, it was no match for them. So I had no issues with that. I was actually a little surprised that they made the move so quick, to be honest with you. Um, Moving on to the next guy I wanted to mention was Rafael Flores, another undrafted free agent. He's hitting 281, 382 on base percentage, 50 extra base hits, which is insane. 21 home runs, 68 RBIs, a walk rate of over 13%, strikeout rate at 25%. Since August 1st, he's hitting 315 with a 397 on base percentage, and that's a 1027 OPS, 17 extra base hits, 9 home runs, 20 RBIs, 21% strikeout rate. Rafael Flores has been a beast
Yeah, and I saw him when he debuted in 22
in
in
the
the
in the
complex
SEL.
league, and he was hands down the reason that that team won the
Hmm.
playoffs. He was just, I think he batted like 500 or something stupid
Yeah,
like that. It was
he
only
he
7 games, but
yeah he
still,
signed and he signed and he hit like 400 with like 2 home runs and 4 doubles. Like he went absolutely batshit crazy.
yeah.
In that series in the championship series. I remember that. Um, I,
And he brings so much
looking.
energy to the team as well. It's
Mhm,
on top of everything else, and he's got a good glove. I mean, he's like a total package. And then just real quick, in the top 30 that I'm dropping tomorrow with NYY Underground, I comped him to a Ben Rice just because
mhm,
he's a better first baseman than a catcher, but he
mhm.
can play both positions as well.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I would say he's better. He's definitely better defensively. And yeah, I guess you could say he's kind of like a right-handed version of Ben Rice. I think is he 24? I think he's 24. I think he's 24.
23 years, 10 months, and
Or
five
20.
days because I
Yeah,
have
so
the
he might be
tab open.
24. Okay. So he's a guy that you should see at Scranton next season, definitely. I mean, he could be in the plans. Uh, all the guy has done is hit no matter where he goes. Every level that I've seen him at, all he does is mash, and he's held his own defensively.
I have him as a 2026 call up along
Mhm.
with Harrison Cohen.
Okay.
And that's just because, if it were any other organization, it would be next year probably, just because
Mhm.
of how not aggressive the Yankees are
Right.
with their call-ups.
Mhm. The next thing I wanted to mention was Trent Sellers, who
Oh
has
my
just
God.
been nasty. I mean,
Oh my
since
God.
he's 7-3 with a 2.26 ERA. By the way, he's another undrafted free agent. With a 2.26 ERA, 0.99 WHIP. That's 83 and two-thirds innings, 43 hits, 100 strikeouts, strikeout rate of 30. I'm sorry, 30%, 149 average against. Since July 1st, he has just been out of this world. 0.43 ERA, 0.55 WHIP. That's 41 and two-thirds innings, 12 hits, 11 walks, 49 strikeouts. A slight uptick in the K rate to almost 33%, 34%. Average against dropped to 0.9, 0.90. And he was a starter in a no-hit game, was it 2, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I'll go with it. I think so. I don't
I know
know.
he was the starter in that no-hitter that Hudson Valley threw.
I just
But
told you
Trent
about it, and now I
Sellers,
forget.
but Trent Seller has just been absolutely nasty all season long.
August 22nd. It was
Mm,
him, Mason Vineyard, and Thomas Belboni.
yeah,
That was a 7 inning. I don't know if I want to count it. Technically, it isn't, but we're going to count it, I guess.
it's a full game, bro. 7 innings. Yeah, like I said, Trent Sellers has just been absolutely nasty. He pitched in game one of the playoffs for Hudson Valley, which was on I think it was Tuesday, and he was just nasty once again. He pitched 4 innings, 4 shutout innings. He gave up 1 hit, I think 1 walk, and he had 9 strikeouts, which was a career high for him.
So I'll read you the little bit of a clip, I guess you can say that I wrote up about him. Sellers has a 5 pitch arsenal, according to StatCast. He threw in one game for Scranton, so we're lucky that we were able to get a little bit of pitch data from that. He has a four seamer that sets low 90s, hits 93. He has a cutter that sets high 80s, a changeup that sits low 80s, and a sinker that sits high 80s, low 90s, and a slider he only used once in that outing that sits mid 80s. He has the four seamer and the cutter were the most often used pitches, but his curveball was the best out pitch, and that
Hmm.
curveball is absolutely nasty.
Hmm.
It has to be the best one in the organization.
Yeah, I've dropped two. By the way, I've dropped two Trent Seller videos this week. So if you haven't gotten to seeing it before, just take a look. If you haven't seen it yet, just take a look at it. Sellers has been absolutely nasty.
Yeah,
The next thing I wanted to mention is a guy that gets absolutely no love, and that's Alex Mauricio. And Mauricio last season was in high A, and this season they just put him right to triple A. He's pitched to a 1.76 ERA, a 1.76 ERA. Hold on one second. A 1.76 ERA, 1.24 whip, 46 innings, 48 strikeouts, 25% K rate, 196 average against.
I can't find him in here. Where can I find him? There he is. He's hiding behind Yuri De Los Santos. Um, yeah, just looking at his stats real quick. I mean, I don't have him on my top 30 just because look,
Hmm.
if I were to look at his stats, he doesn't deserve to be on the top 30.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I mean, obviously the Yankees think highly of him
Hmm.
if he's going to go from high A to triple A. He's not really somebody that, like you said, he's not somebody that's been on our radar. He's not
Hmm.
been on my radar.
I mean,
Um,
I've mentioned him once or twice this season, as a guy that the Yankees maybe should just give a look, especially since, they have thrown out so many journeymen into the bullpen this year. I
yeah,
just thought it was a guy they should have just at least given him a look, considering how well he had been pitching at AAA.
the stat that sticks out to me the most, I think, is his left on base percentage of 84%.
Mm,
And he has a BABIP of an opposing BABIP of 263, which I mean, whatever. There's no pitcher. I mean, unless you're, I guess, Trent Sellers, there's no pitcher that's going to not give up hits.
hmm
Um, the fact that he leaves 84% of those batters on base, and I guess that includes the walks too. But 46 in the third innings. I mean,
hmm
he's getting good time there at least.
Yeah. The last guy I wanted to mention was Brendan Jones. He was I think he
Yep,
was the 14th round draft pick this season. Overall,
something like that. Yeah,
he's hitting 267 with a 471 on base percentage. That's a 924 OPS, 8 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 19 RBIs, 18 stolen bases. He has an insane walk rate of 27.9 and a K rate of about 20%. This guy at Tampa, he was just filthy. I think he hit
yeah,
close to 500. His on base percentage was way over 500. He was just killing that league.
and he's speedy too. I think that's something that
Hmm.
I think he's probably the sleeper pick of the draft.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean,
especially
he just
given
shot out of a can. He just shot out of a cannon.
yeah, it's just guns blazing.
Hmm.
And I have him as well, you'll find out in 2 weeks, but he's top 25. I'll say that much.
All right.
But yeah,
Um,
it's he's one of those guys that you need to have him on your radar because I
yeah,
think he's going to do
he's
big
an
things
exciting
next year.
player. He's an exciting
I
player. Definitely should keep an eye on him.
I think he might start at Somerset next year just because of the fact that he was one of the first ones to get promoted.
Hmm.
So obviously they see something in him, but
Hmm.
the tools, like everything looks so polished.
Yeah. Moving on, I'm gonna look at my Yankee prospects of the week. I'm gonna mention at Tampa. You had Roderick Arias. He was the player of the week down there. He had 316 with a 381 on base percentage, 862 OPS, three extra base hits, a home run, two RBIs, five stolen bases. You had Joe De Los Santos. He hit 308, 400 on base percentage, 862 OPS, two extra base hits, two RBIs. He's another one of those draft picks. I think he was a 10th round pick this year for the Yankees. Hit pretty well. I think he went through a streak where he hit six straight games or six straight multi-hit games.
Yeah, something like that.
Um, On the pitching side, you had Andrew Landry, four shutout innings, one hit, two walks, one K, his best outing of the season. Um, you had Yoli Diaz pitch three shutout innings with one hit, four strikeouts. Chris Keane, one walk. I'm sorry, three innings, one run, one hit, three strikeouts. And Rafael Nivar, he pitched one and one third inning with four strikeouts. At Hudson Valley, you had Dylan Hassel hit 333 with a 944 OPS, three extra base hits, a home run, six RBIs. Jackson Castillo hit 313, 838 OPS, one extra base hit, three RBIs, three walks, two steals. You had George Lombard, who had been absolutely phenomenal down there as of late, especially. He hit 250, 375 OPS. I'm sorry, 375 on base, 775 OPS, three extra base hits, an RBI, four walks, three steals. And you had really good pitching at Hudson Valley this week from Josh Bros, who pitched 12 innings, allowed four runs, 13 strikeouts. Baron Stewart, his last outing, he pitched four and two-thirds inning with 12 strikeouts. Kyle Carr, who continues to pitch well, he had four innings, one earned run, four strikeouts. Trent Sellers, three and two-thirds shutout innings with eight strikeouts. Brian Henry, who's another one of my favorites, guy to definitely look out for next season. Three innings, three shutout innings, two strikeouts. Joel Valdez, three innings, six strikeouts. You had Harrison Cohen, two-thirds inning with three strikeouts. Matt Keating, two and a third, four strikeouts. Mason Vineyard, two and a third with six strikeouts.
Just real
Um,
quick, two stats. Renegades
mhm.
pitching staff finished the regular season with a 3.25 ERA, not only the lowest in the Sal League, but the best among all high A teams. They ranked sixth among all full season minor league teams in ERA. And then as far as the bullpen is concerned, they had a 3.06 ERA, the best in high A and third best in the minors.
Who's the pitching coach down there? Is it no, he moved to Tampa. Oh my
Who's
God,
that?
he was a Yankees top prospect, a reliever, blew out his shoulder. Oh my
I'll look
God.
at the game notes and then you can just keep going. And
Damn it.
if I
I
find it, I'll
forgot
let you
his
know.
I can't remember his name right now. I know his name. Jesus
I'll
Christ.
find it. I'll let you know.
Moving on to Somerset, you had Alexander Vargas, who continues with a resurgence. He was my player of the week at Somerset. He hit 346, 756 on base per OPS, two extra base hits, three RBIs, a stolen base. Rafael Flores hit 286, 400 on base percentage, 1162 OPS. That's four extra base hits, three home runs, six RBIs, three walks. I'm sorry, Rafael Flores was my player of the week down there. Um, Kiko
Spencer
Romero's. Hmm?
Spencer Medic is their pitching coach.
Okay. Kiko Romero was promoted to double A recently last week. He hit 286, 1158 on OPS, one home run, four RBIs, and he hit an absolute bomb down there in his debut game with a beautiful bat flip. Um, you had Zach Messenger who threw six and two-thirds innings, three hits, a run, six strikeouts. Bailey Dees, six innings, no earned runs, four hits, eight strikeouts. Eric Razelman, two and two-thirds shutout innings, one hit, one walk, six strikeouts. Danny Watson, two and two-thirds innings with no runs, no hits, no walks, three strikeouts. Um, and moving on to Scranton, you had Jason Dominguez. He hit 375, 448 on base, 1073 OPS, two extra base hits, two home runs, seven RBIs. I'm so happy he's up in the Bronx right now. TJ Rumfield, he hit 353, 742 OPS, six RBIs. Ben Rice hit 286, 1162 OPS. That's three home runs, eight RBIs, seven walks. And Edgar Barclay threw 12 innings, allowed just two runs, six strikeouts.
And I think a lot of people are sleeping on a lot of the names that you listed.
Mhm.
Barclay's been a favorite of mine. Razelman's been a favorite of mine.
I'm a huge
Um,
Razelman fan. Yeah.
yeah, just like the stuff that he's been putting out this year.
Mhm.
And then real quick, Hendry is done for tonight. Two innings pitched, no hits allowed, one run unearned on a Antonio Gomez throwing error, three walks, four strikeouts. So four strikeouts in two innings. I mean, you can't sneeze at that.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would say good outing from Henry on that.
Yeah.
And on that note, John, if you have anything else you're working on, anything you want to
Yeah, I'm
discuss
just
before we head
putting
on?
together the top 30 for NYYU and just keep looking at that. I think my release schedule is going to be Fridays and Tuesdays. So the first one will be out on this upcoming Friday the 13th.
All right. All right, John, thanks for coming on. Guys, thanks a lot for always tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks. Have a good night.